This is Miss DiBiase. We are going to be learning how to do a collage still life today. We're going to keep it simple. It is a realistic that you can identify things in it, but you're going to play around with the shapes a little bit. You don't want them to be perfect. So you can see a still life here that I have. It looks like a simple apple, color fields, table legs. This is not a table that I would use in my real house, but in the artwork it does make it look interesting. It's something I haven't seen before. Here is another one that another person did before. They liked music, so they put some music lines in there with some notes. Again, it is a still life. It has the apple, it has a table, some interesting lines, some color fields going on in it. We're going to start with a basic one. You're just exploring it. And then when you're used to what you're doing, you can choose whatever subject matter. If you like sports, you can choose to put some sports ideas into it. If you like nature, you can put some nature silhouettes and drawings in it. You can do just about anything you like. If you like dogs, cats, fish, you name it. If you want to do a house, all of these can be created with this style of art, which is collage. Let's see here. First things you're going to need is you will need a white piece of paper, or you could use color if you would like. Let me put this title up here, Collage Still-Life. Glue stick to glue your paper down. Sharpie marker, make some nice dark marks, or you can use a regular marker. A pencil to start it out with. Some scissors. And then you're going to choose, I'm going to choose 3 colors. You can choose as many as you wanted to. Let's keep it basic for this lesson. When you're exploring it on your own, you can choose as many as you would like. The first thing that we're going to do is I'm going to work small. So I'm going to clear all my materials off. And I'm going to take this paper and I'm going to fold it in half. And again, while you're getting your materials, again, we'll go over it. You're going to need scissors, pencil, Sharpie marker, glue stick, a white piece of paper. Probably cut it in half. You do not have to, but to save time, I'm going to just cut it in half. I could use my scissors, but I've been tearing it for a number of years, so I'm just going to carefully tear it in half. So I have my first practice one, and then I'll have my second one for my real one. Alright, this is kind of free form, so you just want to take your scissors, and you just want to cut some shapes. Choose a different color. Maybe I need some skinny ones of the orange. Okay. And I'm going to go with my 3rd color. And I might not need a lot of that, so I'm just going to cut part of it off. Maybe I'll just do, I don't know, something. I'm going to do a table of some sort. That could be a table shape if I liked it. Might change it up a bit. Yeah, the more unusual I think, the better it turns out. Yeah, you definitely wouldn't want to use this to eat on, but for art, and you want people to look at your art and go, oh, I've never seen that before. That's what makes it interesting. Perfect does not matter. Alright, so you have some basic shapes. You're just going to lay them down how you feel. This one, I think I'm going to cut it up a little bit more. Maybe I'll just cut into it a little bit. And you can leave all these other shapes around. And then you can place it down on the paper and see what you like. Maybe I want a little bit of orange peeping through it. Maybe I want to have this as my table. Maybe I'll have this underneath. That can be my table too. These little scrap pieces are kind of cool, so I'm just going to kind of let them just float around a little bit. As you can see, it's not making a lot of sense at the beginning till you start to structure it with some of the dark. If you like the way it's going, then you can start to glue it down. So I'm going to start to glue it down. It might change up a little bit as I'm designing it, but that's okay. I'm going to take my orange piece here. I can get it up. And I'm going to put some glue on it. And glue that down. I think it was about right there. And I'm going to put some glue on this one. I did want it on top of it. I kind of like how the orange comes out a little bit over here, a little bit over here. It's not perfect. It's just kind of fun. I'm going to put my orange one down. And then that green top. How did I have it? Did I have it like this? Or was it like this? I think I want to do it like this. Notice it is not perfect. And I'm going to place it down on top of it. I'm going to take these scrap pieces, put a smidge of glue on them, to kind of poke them up in the atmosphere there in the background. Maybe I'll do another green one. Maybe some green down here somewhere. Yeah. And I've got this one. Kind of angle it out. Like I say, it's not making a lot of sense to you at this time, and you do not have to go along with me. Sometimes if you just watch me do it, then you can explore on your own. Ooh, maybe I should layer this. I'm not sure. I'll put it right there. That could be part of the table leg. See what I mean? You just kind of look at it and just go with it. So we're basically working with a little bit of realism, which is we're going to have our table. I'm going to draw an apple on it, just like I did on the other one. You do not have to use the same thing, but if you want to, just to get your bearings, because it is an odd style of art, you can't really see what you're doing until it's done. Alright, next thing I think we should do is I'm going to take a pencil and I'm going to draw my apple. I don't want it tiny because it's going to get lost in all these shapes. And it's not really going to make a sense. It's not going to be a realistic apple. It will have a realistic shape, but the colors are just going to be slightly off. So the top of my apple will be right in here somewhere. I'm going to curve it down and kind of go up. If you did it in pencil, you can erase it if you don't like it. Then I'm going to take my Sharpie marker and I'm just going to freeform draw it in there. And then so people can recognize that it's an apple, I'm going to have that classic little stem coming off of it. And then if something's not perfect, I can just go ahead and color it in a little bit. But the main thing we're going to do now is we are going to take our black construction paper and we're going to be cutting up some lines that will start to give the piece some structure and a little bit more contrast. You can already see the black against the colors makes it look really, really pretty. Don't forget to put your glue lid back on. And then I'm going to do just like I started at the beginning. I'm going to go through and not use the whole sheet of paper. I find it easier if I cut off little pieces. And then I'm going to cut some angles of some sort for a table leg. I think it's a little too big, so I'm just going to take it and I'm just going to scissor it right off. And I'm going to use this one for my table leg. Ooh, cool. I like that. Alright, glue it off. I find a lot of times with these tiny ones, if you just kind of run it across it, the glue, then I'm going to stick it down. Table leg. Okay. And I have the other part of it. I still think that's a little thick, but I'm just going to cut it up through here. Angle it off. Does it match? No. Do I care if it matches? No. I'm wanting to create a table that is unique, that is interesting, and nobody's seen that before. It's the beauty of art. Creating something and looking at something differently. Let's get down in here, get that extra glue off. Okay. Alright, so you can see I have kind of an apple. I have some table legs. If you want to anchor it down more, I'm just taking that leftover piece that I had before, even with the curl up. I'm going to put some glue on it. And I'm going to set it across, set my apple on it. If you are starting to get a lot of glue on your fingers, like I am, it's having a hard time sticking down. Okay, so if it is sticking, take a few minutes to get a cloth or a napkin, and you can get your fingers a little wet and then just wipe them off. Always feel free to wipe your fingers off and come back to your artwork if it gets frustrating that the pieces keep coming back up. Alright, so I'm looking like I need, this is kind of a little hinky, so I want to put some dark lines going around my apple, so it looks like I'm going to have to cut kind of a curved shape. So I'm just taking my extra piece here and I'm going to cut a curved piece. And see if it kind of fits on there. Oh, it does. And see how it kind of overhangs here? That doesn't bother me. I like that. I'm going to take this. Again, I'm going to glue it on the back edge. Run it right along it. Excuse my video techniques, but this is not what I'm trained to do, but I'm enjoying doing it for you all, so you all can do some fun things at home. I sure do miss teaching you all. My days are not quite as fulfilling as when I'm at school teaching you all. Alright. So I think, so my apple isn't as heavy on this side, that I might need to work another piece over here. So that's what I was doing, was cutting another piece. Kind of makes my apple go wonky this way, so I'm not sure. Maybe I should put it more to the outside. If I put it to the inside, it still makes it go kind of sideways. So if I take it and put this out here a little bit, kind of gives it a little bit of balance. Alright. So on your second one, you can probably do some neater designs than what you did on your first one. But this is a basic Collage Still-Life with the apple, your 3 colors, and your black accents. Anyways, you all take care. I enjoyed this lesson with you. You have fun with your collage still life. I can't wait to see all your work in the future. Take care. Wash your hands.
Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Miss Ray from Sarah Moore Green Magnet Academy, and today I'm going to be teaching you some origami for beginners. We are going to learn 3 different patterns today: a fox, Pikachu, and a penguin. We'll start with the easiest one and work our way up to the most difficult. All you will need to do this project is paper, scissors, and something to draw with. Are you ready? Let's get started. Origami is the Japanese art of paper folding. Today I will be using origami paper, which is a colored paper that has already been cut into squares. Since some of you might not have access to origami paper, I'm going to begin by teaching you how to prepare your own paper to use with the origami patterns. First, you will need a piece of copy paper and a pair of scissors. First, you will take the short edge of your paper and fold it against the long edge of your paper. Hold it with one hand and press down along the fold with the other. After you've done that, you are going to take your scissors and you are going to cut off the strip of paper next to the triangle. After that strip of paper has been cut away, you will be left with a square piece of paper ready to use with any of the origami patterns. All right, are you guys ready? We're going to start with the fox pattern. I think that this one's the easiest. So now we are going to take this bottom corner and fold it up to the top corner. Line them up nice and carefully. Hold it down with one hand and then press along the edge to make sure it all stays in place. There we go. The next step is that we are going to take this top corner and fold it down to the bottom edge. When you do that, we are actually creating the head of the fox, even though we can't quite see it yet. Hold it down, press along the edge. There we go. All right. Now, in order to make the fox's ears, we are going to create a fold along this line. So we're going to do that by folding up with that corner. There we go. Press down along the edge. Make sure everything stays in place. And now we'll do the same thing on the other side. Fold it up. Make sure everything stays in place. There we go. Now, once you've done all of this, you are ready to flip it over and you have your fox face. Just in case someone missed a step, let's go through it one more time. We are going to start by taking the bottom corner and folding it up to the top corner. Make sure it's lined up nice and neat. Hold it down with one hand. Press down with the other. There we go. Then the next step is to take the top corner and fold it down to the bottom edge. Make sure you do this carefully. Just line up the corner with the edge, then press down along the fold with your other hand. There we go. Now, to do his ears, we are going to create a fold along this crease, this line. There we go. Now we're going to fold up that corner, so that way we have the fold just where we want it. Perfect. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side, creating a fold right along that line. Lifting up the paper, pressing down on the fold. And now you are ready to flip over your fox and to decorate his face. I'm going to show you the way that I decorated my fox, but you can do yours any way you want. For Pikachu, the first step is exactly the same as the fox, taking the bottom edge and folding it up to the top edge. Make sure everything is lined up nice and neat, then press down along the fold with your other hand. There we go. The next step is to take the bottom portion and roll it up. Just roll it up a little bit, pressing down to make it stay down nice and flat. There we go. It looks like a paper boat. Now, in order to do Pikachu's ears, we're going to do something a little bit more complicated. We're going to fold up that piece to make sure that it connects with the other edge. Let me show you a little bit of what I mean. That edge right there needs to line up with this edge right here. Make sure it's lined up. Press down to keep it in place. There we go. All right, let's try the other side. Again, we're doing the exact same thing. We want that edge to be connected with this edge. Folding it up, putting it where it's supposed to be, and then pressing down along the fold to make sure it all stays in place. Now, I'm just going around to make sure all my folds are where they're supposed to be. So make sure that the top of his head looks right so he doesn't have a pointy head. Fold that little corner down and make sure it stays down nice and neat. Flip over your face and you have a Pikachu that's ready to decorate. All right, guys, just in case you missed something, let's do it one more time. Remember that we start by folding up the bottom edge and the top edge. Make sure they're lined up, and then press down along the bottom to make sure that everything stays nice and neat. After we have folded up that first step, we are going to do the second, which is to roll up the bottom just a little bit, and then press down along the edge to make sure it stays in place. Next, we're going to do his ears. In order to do Pikachu's ears, we are going to be taking the side and folding it up above the top point. So it's going to look like this in a minute, but we want to make sure that everything is lined up nice and neat. So let me show you the edges again. You want this edge to line up with this edge, okay? So when you fold it up, press it down with your other hand. There we go. And now we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Again, making sure that the edges are lined up exactly where they're supposed to be, right? So those two edges together, line it up, press it down nice and neat. And then, in order to make sure we don't give Pikachu a pointy head, we've got to take that top little bit and fold it down. Okay? After we folded that little bit down, we're going to flip it over and we're ready to decorate his face. Again, I'll show you the way that I decorated my Pikachu, but you get to choose how to decorate your own. The last pattern that I'm going to teach you today is the penguin. Now, in order to do the penguin, we are going to start by creating some guiding folds. In order to create those, we are going to start by folding the top corner, the bottom corner, the right corner, and the left corner together. Now, when we fold these together, we are actually going to open it up right back up afterwards. We are not keeping these folds forever. We're just using them as a guideline so that when we are making decisions later about where our folds go, we have something to look at. So again, we're going to fold those corners together, making sure that they stay nice and neat. We want to make sure everything is lined up. There we go. Then open it back up, flatten it out, and you'll be left with some creases to help you out later. Now, the first step for his wings is to fold in just a little bit. So you're taking that top right edge and you are folding it in towards the middle, but not all the way in. Okay? Make sure you press down along the edge to keep it nice and secure. Then do the same thing on the left. So you're going to fold it in, not all the way, just a little bit. There we go. All right, so now the next step is to flip your penguin over. Then you're going to fold up the bottom corner to the center that was made by those two guiding creases that we made earlier, okay? So fold it down, and then we're going to take the top part and we're going to fold it away from us. That is going to be his beak. Good. Now, once you've folded those two things, we are going to actually fold our penguin in half. Once we have folded our penguin in half, we are going to take his head and you're going to lift it up. After you've lifted up the penguin's head, make sure that you press it in place so that way it stays. There we go. Now you are all set to decorate your penguin and make him look exactly the way that you want him to. All right, let's go over it one more time just in case some of our friends missed a step. So remember, we are starting by creating those guiding folds, which are going to help us with folding the rest of our pattern. So make sure you have the top and the bottom meet down. There we go. Then we're going to open that back up, flatten it out, and then we're going to fold the right and the left corners together and make sure that they stay together nice and neat, pressing down along our folds. And then again, we are going to open that back up, flatten it out, and it's ready for our pattern. So the first step for our penguin is that we are going to fold in that edge just a little bit, not too much, just a little bit. We don't want it to get all the way to the middle, but we want it to fold in a bit. So we'll press down along the edge to make sure it stays. There we go. And now we'll do the same thing on the other side, taking that edge and folding it in, not all the way to the middle, but just a little bit. And after we've folded that in, we're going to press down along the edge, making sure that it stays in place. Good, and now we're going to flip it over and fold up that penguin's tail. So you'll take the bottom piece, fold it up to the center where those guiding lines meet. There we go. And now we're going to fold away the beak. So we're going to press down, press it away from us, just like that. And then it's time to fold our penguin in half. So what we'll do is we'll take the paper, fold it in half exactly, make sure it's lined up. There we go. And then we're going to lift up his beak. When you lift it up, make sure you press down along the edges so that way it stays and doesn't just come back down again. And then you'll have your penguin and he should be all ready for you to go and for you to decorate. Thanks so much for joining us today. I'm so glad that you were able to tune in, and I hope that you were able to follow along and make some origami of your own. I hope you have an awesome rest of the day. Thank you again.